This. Wait. There we go. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Make sure all my stuff is right. This is not looking too hot right now. Nothing like starting off the morning with technical difficulties. What's up, Brian? Real quick, I just wanted to touch on this. I know that me and Phil are going to get together and do a full on show about this later. One of these days this week. It's good, cousin. Um, but so I just wanted to come in and tap in with y'all because a lot of this is so far off the bat. We're Raider Nation is right back to fighting. Can't even enjoy a damn W together in peace. It's kind of strange, but that's where we're at. The Raiders pulled off a 16-14 win against the Cleveland backups. Uh, for everybody that was upset about not playing the game on Saturday, moving it 2 days didn't end up doing very much for Cleveland. Very few of their guys ended up coming back. And they still didn't have Baker or Casey Keenum, which truly worked to the Raiders' benefit because it forced Cleveland to be one dimensional. And Nick Mullins clearly did not have the same team around him in San Francisco because he looked pretty bad until the end. But it is what it is. When dealing with winning, the Raiders have really two mantras that I like a lot. The first one is Al Davis's, just win, baby. Doesn't matter how you do it. So it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Doesn't matter if it's pretty. Doesn't matter if it's ugly. It doesn't matter if you flat out stole it. All that matters is just win, because it all counts the same in the win column. What's up, Corey? Said, and then what I would say for this particular win against the Browns is what Del Rio said. Never apologize for a victory. Wins are hard to get in this league. You need to enjoy every one of them. And I'm not a Raider fan that enjoys losing. The number 10 slot in the draft was up for grabs if they were to lose this, or they could win this game and stay a game out of the playoffs. All of the tiebreakers that they had early are now coming back into play because all of the teams that are in the hunt are indeed teams that they have beaten, now including Cleveland. So the Raiders obviously they need to win out and win the rest of their games, and they need to have a shot at the Chargers dropping the rest of their games, and or the Ravens. Now I don't know how long Lamar Jackson is going to be out, but those would be the two teams that I believe need to lose the most. Now, also there's supposed to be a kicker on the Titans and the Colts. If they win their non-Raider games, that's supposed to boot the Raiders out. These playoff permutations are very interesting to look at, but it all starts with winning, and we got the Raiders definitely, after having looked at this game, need to take it one game at a time and give 100% of their focus to the Denver Broncos. Teddy left the game. Teddy left the game on a stretcher with his concussion. He got out of the hospital yesterday, I believe, and has entered the concussion protocol. Uh, Denver's not really playing for anything. Honestly, if I was them, I wouldn't put him back out there. But if he clears and he's ready to go, you still better off putting him in there over Drew Lock. And Denver, and it's a division game, and Denver's defense has been playing much better than it has. So they would need to focus on that. But going back to this game, the Raiders did a few interesting things, especially most of it on defense. Now, Nick Chubb, everybody widely expected Nick Chubb to come in and run all over him. Everybody said we didn't have any of our starting linebackers in at all. KJ Wright hasn't been getting much playing time up until now because there were better options. But the Raiders held Nick Chubb under 100 yards into that one rushing touchdown, And if you really want to get super technical, up until because he had two long runs, one for 24 yards, and then let's see, hold on, what was the other one? Or one 24-yard run. So really, they held him to about 70 yards minus a play, less than 70 yards, 60 yards, about 65 yards minus one play on 23 carries, and he only hit pay dirt once. That's incredibly impressive, especially for this run defense. And so that needed to be cited because the defense held the Cleveland Browns to 14 points. No matter what you want to say about it, they shut them out for the first half and held them to a touchdown a quarter after that. Everybody. So I had seen some things about asking, oh, what happened to the sacks and what happened with this, that, and I said, listen, said this defense is one that's not good enough to play two particular styles at the same time. They got to focus on one element to remove that element, and if you beat them with the other one, then so be it. They chose the run game today, and they shut it down. They were extremely impressive, swarming, good tackling, had a defensive scheme that was smart, and it's not so much of him being a linebacker, but as a rover. And I had tweeted something out about it early when I saw it. They activated him as soon as they saw a fly motion or a jet motion coming his way. That gave him the freedom to attack the line of scrimmage. And I've long said that Jonathan Abram is at his best when he's coming downhill. If you got him moving away from the line of scrimmage, you're in trouble. If you got it moving sideline to sideline, that's not he can do it. He can do it. It's not what you want to see, but when he's coming downhill attacking, that's the guy. That's when Jonathan Abram is at his best. He played well. Dislocated his shoulder by the end of the game. It was kind of nasty seeing how he was holding it on his way out, but it is what it is. Uh, he's been I can't even really say he's been playing better, but he had a good game against what he did. Um, Max continues to not get sacks, and it is what it is. I'm not about to sit here and nitpick a victory today because the Raiders went out and got it done. There'll be another time to talk about the shortcomings and the offensive inefficiencies, of which there were many. But the good news is that, and we're reaching here, but we're going to reach together. That they were 500 in the red zone. 500 in the red zone. That's all we've been asking for, right? I got you 16 points. Probably means we should make some more trips to the red zone. That might help a little bit more, just a little bit, so that we can be able to win games more decisively that we should be winning. Daniel Carlson, real MVP of this team, 3 for 3 in terms of field goals. Made sure that we won this football game. And like Ty said, I don't care how we win. If we win, we could be undefeated, and some of these fans would still. Hey, listen, the Raiders have not done anything with the draft capital that they've had. Let's be real. The entire 2021 draft class is not on this. Not going to be on this team much longer. That's just what it is. Uh, this regime has done nothing, and in the past, aside from the give me's that they got from that Reggie picked up, the first round drafts have been awful or have not been good enough. They just haven't. So what draft slot they have to me is pretty much inconsequential. Um, I guess at 10, what they could do is they could try to move up and see if they could get a Kayvon Thibodeau or something like that, or a person like that. But everybody would suggest that they need to draft a quarterback. I don't really see any of these guys that they have now as ones, but I'll have to dig further into the tape later to see. Should the Raiders move on from Abrams, he could have a home at outside linebacker. That's where I would leave him, to be honest with you. So would they move you? But you got to get more. You got to get more in terms of coverage. You got to be able to run cover 2 and cover 4 as a safety in the NFL. That's just inexcusable. And no matter how much better Abrams has gotten, he's still not good enough. You'll never hear me say we don't need more talent. Yeah, those words will never come out of my mouth. I also believe I'm a firm believer and they need to use the talent that they have better, more efficiently, and more often. I believe that Teron Johnson is a very viable threat that is sitting on the bench right now. And somehow they need, especially when you're suffering from speed deficiencies in crucial situations, for everybody who's complaining about Zay Jones's deep routes, who quickly forgot that he won the game against Baltimore in the first week of the season. But there's a speed gap there. We were looking for Deshaun to fill it. He had a crucial drop, and for whatever reason, he can't get no PT. And if he can't get any PT, they need to get another guy in. And that would be where Johnson came in. We saw him in the kick return game last week. I was hoping to see him get more burn this week, but it just wasn't in the cards. Abrams' niche is definitely a hybrid linebacker. No, for sure. That other defense would be considered a 4-4 rover. He would be the rover, so he could still effectively maintain his position, still have three linebackers, and 4 linemen on the field, and he would just be moving side to side, depending on formation or other keys. This is a great question. Why is Barber a better back with our current line than Josh Jacobs? Because Josh Jacobs has been tap dancing in the holes. You watch Josh Jacobs runs, there's always at least 1 to 2 stutter steps or side steps where he stops move forward motion and is moving laterally. And he's not fast enough or explosive enough to do that. Josh Jacobs is at his best when he's hitting the hole, and that is the difference. That's why Kenyon Drake was better, and this is why Peyton Barber is better. Peyton Barber's more explosive, he's more direct to the hole, and he's flat out faster. Those 3 components behind the line of scrimmage are why he's the better back. And when he's getting through the hole, he didn't use up everything he had just to get through the hole. Hey, this is the way I got to get it in, Vince. Is to be working them long days, and by the time I get home after traffic, I'm not doing shit. Well, these are the things that Carr says that makes everybody all love you. That's my guy. That's my guy. He went out and he told him what it was. Like I said, there was plenty of things that I saw that reaffirmed my position on the quarterback. But I'm not going to get into that right now because I don't have that much time. I got to get ready to go to work, bro. Jacobs changed his style and it's showing. Also, not sure if he's still playing hurt. No, he's not playing hurt. Not, not with what I've seen. He's been playing much better. I would argue this is actually closer to the Jacobs that he was I just would like to say I think they're still running more of a zone look than power, and I think that he would still be better in a power system. I don't like to see running backs, especially slower running backs, do side to side motions. You just you don't have the burst there. And in this league, guys, especially with the linebackers getting faster and faster, if you're running 4.6 and the linebacker's running 4.3, you don't have any time to stop. Should the Raiders draft Kenny Walker from Michigan State in the late second round? I don't think that he's going to make it to the late second round player. To be honest with you, I like him. I like Bijan Robinson from Texas a lot. I like I like a lot of guys. And Josh Jacobs is going to be making way too much money. I said it earlier. I said it earlier this year that if it was me, I would trade him for what I could get and move on and get another guy. Um, his health is a problem. At best, he's looking right now more and more like a committee back, and that's not a bad thing. But he, for the last 2 years, he's got the bulk of the carries. When in fact, if you go back and look nearly statistically, or even the eye test, his backups have been better. So Devontae Booker was a better back than Jacobs was last year, but he didn't get any carries. Kenyon Drake, if you look at the numbers, is a better back this year than Josh Jacobs, but he's not getting the carries. Peyton Barber has been the best back on his team, and he hasn't even gotten playing time. For not even playing time, but active time. He hadn't even been active. Um, that is true. That is true because somebody, but to a point, early in the season, Josh was hurt and the line was trash, and so he had valid even though I was frustrated with what I was seeing when he said, "Where do you want me to run? Where what am I supposed to do?" He had a valid point because there was no place to run. There was nothing he could do. This has been an interesting offensive line because they're so much better at pass blocking than run blocking, and everything that you heard coming into the offseason was that this was supposed to be a road grading offensive line. Now that was also supposed to be with Denzel Good, Richie Incognito, and everything, and Alex Leatherwood playing like a first round draft pick at right tackle when he was a left tackle. But that's the way the Raiders do things, and that's how they do things. And then one other thing that I wanted to bring up is what in the fuck is Rich Bisaccia doing with his clock management? He is awful at clock management. As a whole on the sidelines, it looks like they all are awful at clock management. I couldn't figure out why the hell or he wanted to throw the flag, and somebody probably told him don't throw the flag, you'll lose the challenge. But there's no reason you should be taking a delay of game on a punt on your side of the field. And I've seen him make bonehead decisions in terms of clock management time after time after time. It's really it's indicative of why everybody says that this is not a well coached football team, because this will probably be Bisaccia's last stint as a head coach in this league, because it's not the job for him. He's not capable of doing it. He's definitely not going to outcoach another NFL coach on the sideline. That much is evident. He does. He does. Uh, and there's really no other way to slice it. It is definitely working with what you got. That's about the most accurate way I could say that without crapping on anybody. They're working with what they got. They put together a plan that got them 328 yards against Cleveland and got them a victory. They won the time of possession 33-24. You'd like to see more points than 16 when 30 minutes of plus of possession, but it is what it is. The defense held Cleveland to 236 total yards on offense. Don't get me wrong, this O line is horrible. We're trying to zone the guys who are big but not mobile. They are the size of power line schemes. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's exactly what's going on with that. Uh, anything else good over here? For that front also, at this point, why not throw Djax back in as a punt returner or a kick returner? If you're not going to give him the ball on offense, at least give him a shot at a punt return. Hunter put 3 balls on the ground yesterday, 3 punts, and he don't need to do that. At this point, if Hunter's going to be your guy at wide receiver, you don't need him taking those kind of shots. It's just not necessary. Said Djax is still the best option at punt returner still, and it would add something to this. It would add something else to this team. There's a lot of things that if I was the coach, I would do differently, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the deployment of the quarterback. I believe that on the goal line when they ran the option with Carr and Hunter, that was clearly a play design that should have been made for Mariota. And in fact, you saw that when Carr decided he was going to ask Hunter Renfrow to be his lead blocker on the goal line. Now, the size discrepancy in that is 6'3" Carr to about 5'6.5" Hunter Renfrow, telling him go block. And then having them cross, which I believe it's funny because it started off as an interior pitch. Somehow it ended up looking like an exterior pitch because he waited, and then it all went to shit. I've been accused of this before, Corey, making too much sense. So I'm gonna stop talking about that before somebody might actually listen. uh, the other thing that I have to laugh at. So I was in a group chat and I was talking about we were watching Carr and we were watching that play where Carr decided he was gonna make a break for it and then throw on the juice. But when he hit the juice, it was like that moment when your game freezes up on you and you play it online and then just and doesn't execute the move. There's no spin. There's no juke, and that dude usually gets hit sticked, and ends up fumbling. And I was looking at that, and I was like, there was nothing but green grass. This guy had one guy to beat. He went to throw on the shakes, bruh, and this man had no wiggle at all. None. None. I was just like, oh my lord, wow. Oh, just a hard shake. That man didn't have it in the bag, bro. That man didn't have it in the bag. He got stuck, left folded, and at that point, it was all that I could do. I stood up and gave that man a round of applause because he held on to the football. Because I know every time when I see Carr get hit like that in Madden, that ball is on the ground and I'm losing it. Oh, No, that's real. That's real. But no, no, bro, no. The play before that, nobody, nobody. Free 10 yards directly in front. I mean, this is the free 10 yards right in front of him. This is Carr's head the whole time. Said nobody, just right here in front of me. 10, it could walk into that almost on a football field in the 10 yards out on the goal line. And that check down looks a whole lot better. So we're going to start calling Carr. Everybody calls him DC. Instead of calling him DC, I'm going to call him the CDC. Oh, check down Carr. Hey, that's what happened in real life. I mean, you saw it. We saw it. It's not even, you can't even argue that. That's what it was. That 106 has 63 today. I believe he's got more than that. He's supposed to have 75. Now, are you talking about lost fumbles? Lost fumbles would be different. I thought nobody's vision could be worse. I honestly did. I did not think anybody's vision could be worse than Trent Richardson's. But we've been proven wrong. He's making a lot of tackles. Said that play in the end zone he actually did make. Said no matter what you might think of how he got mossed, dude, what didn't come down in bounds because he pushed him out. He did enough to get to push him out of bounds. So I mean, that saved 6, I believe, for at least for the time being. Just saying. Because when you're saying that when you're a running back, the last thing you need to see is another guy hitting the hole. Is another guy running behind the offensive line that you say ain't making no holes. Said you say the offensive line sucks and ain't making no holes. This guy's got the only guy with 100-yard game who's hitting them for 4 and 5 yards a pop every time he touches the ball. This is the guy who's busting a 20-yard run every time he touches the field. Not every time, every series, but at least once a game, he's hitting a 20-yard run, which is something that you struggle to do. So and it's what you got. Just one of those things. If you want to get some carries when this dude is tearing it up, you better go out there and make some shit happen. And while I can say that Jacobs may be slow, he certainly has the correct mentality about it. So now he needs to match that mentality with ability and production, and that would bring him back to the Pro Bowl running back that he was. And there is that I believe it's an ability to get to the hole faster is really what it is. Josh Jacobs doesn't have average NFL speed for a running back. Diablo is playing better. I would like Diablo to get his pad level down. I still think he's playing. He's the biggest guy on the field, tallest guy on the field by far, and you can see it everywhere. You see it. I would like him to play a little bit lower, and I think once he gets his pad level down and gets a little bit more leverage in his strikes, he won't have to wrestle guys down. Guys will start to feel him. And once guys start to feel him, he'll be better at the linebacker position. I don't particularly like him at the linebacker position. I think that really Jonathan Abram is holding up his spot. I think that if you want to use him and deploy him as a rover on the outside, blitz him and do all the stuff that you see them doing with Jonathan Abram, that would be a better use for Diablo. But the current trend in the NFL with I think I've seen Arizona doing it and another couple of teams is you take a larger strong safety and put him at linebacker, and that's just what we're doing with those particular types of players these days. I don't like his block shedding, but he could get better at it. He could do some different things. But Diablo's a work in progress. He's got the proper mentality. He will be here next year, especially for the incoming defensive coordinator, because that type, when you look at guys who can stay and guys who can make a difference, a guy who's going to call out his teammates as a rookie for not having the proper mentality is a guy that needs to stick around. You need guys like that who are going to hold each other accountable, because there's been a lack of accountability on this team. Yeah, I said that earlier. He's at his best when he's attacking. If you got to see him doing anything but moving forward, coming towards the ball, it's not what he's the best at. Frank, it's not Jacob slander, bro. This dude is constant in his second week in the NFL. He fractured his shoulder. He played nearly an entire season with a fractured shoulder, an elbow issue that he went along the way, and he hasn't played a full season yet in 3 seasons. He's 23, yes. I'm not hating on him. I'm just telling you the truth. When he got drafted, he was running a 4.67 40. That was slow right off the bat. His style is predicated on breaking tackles, and in the last 2 years, the broken tackles have gone down significantly. Even you see other running backs are able to run behind this offensive line, but somehow he's still averaging 50 yards a game. It's not slander; it's the truth. And I'm getting attacked by kittens over here. But that's all I got for y'all right now. Got a little 30-minute hitter. Tune in sometime. Me and Phil will work out a time, probably either tonight or tomorrow night, something like that, and recap this real quick and talk about what the Raiders got going moving forward. But 16-14 Raiders over the Browns. I never get tired of saying the Raiders win. So let me just holler at y'all one time on the way out. Raiders! I'm Phil Robinson, and this is the Unfiltered Truth. Holla at your boy.